recorded live at 4ZZZ Studios, Meanjin, Brisbane.
On 102.1 FM.
And broadcast across Australia on the Community Radio Network.
You're listening to Z Games.
Z Games brings you the best in gaming news, reviews, community and culture. Want to reach out?
Share your hot take?
Or do you just want to share your favourite game?
Find us on socials at ZEDGamesAU.
Hey, it's Z Games. How are we all today?
That's a loaded question.
It is a loaded question, but I'm going to fire that gun. I am feeling fantastic today.
I'm glad to hear it.
Had a very nice day off.
I'm
Wasn't feeling
feeling
great this morning, but yeah.
I'm feeling adequate.
That's sometimes
That's a
all you
win.
can ask for.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
you're here now, so.
I am. Therefore, I'm fantastic now.
Yeah.
Yay!
And what are we here to talk about tonight?
Games.
Video games.
Video games here
board
on
games,
Z Games.
Games of all kinds.
Games of all kinds.
Things related to games.
Have you guys been playing anything recently?
World of Warcraft.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I had a friend who decided they wanted to actually play it for the first time ever, so I'm taking them through it. They're competent, but, need experience.
Fair enough.
I've been playing little farming sort games.
Nice.
Little bites of various farming vibe sort games. Yeah.
Cool.
That's
That's good.
I'll probably review them
I look
eventually.
forward to it.
Yeah.
I need to get back into Parlia. That's my farming.
I've
Especially now that
been
it's on Switch.
mostly still playing Outlast Trials, but also like eyeing off Pal World. Just
Yep.
everything going on there. Will I? Won't I? I don't know.
I'm waiting for the Pal World hype to die down and the Enshrouded hype to take off.
Oh, that's the I've also
Yeah.
heard about Enshrouded. I'm like,
Enshrouded apparently is the better game, and Pal World is just, it's kind of like Pokemon, but Arc.
It has the little flashy bits that you can put on TikTok.
Yep.
Which is what I've been
Pokemon
seeing.
and Arc are both games I love in concept, but am kind of underwhelmed by
Yes.
in practice.
Who's strife with many, many different legal battles, not just from Nintendo, because you can capture people, which in turn, slavery, all of that kind of sort of stuff, putting them to work and whatnot. So there's lots of
You can
lots
also
of stuff
chop
going
them
on.
up.
Yes,
Which
butchering
is
humans.
the bit that I want to play because that sounds fun.
Yep.
Well, I hope you do, and then you can review the chopping people up. But perhaps we should go into the news right
Yes.
now.
News!
There's anything
Oozing.
good going on. Oh my gosh. Here it is now.
Whee!
This week in gaming news. Oops, all done. Let me set the scene for you. You're super excited for a Suicide Squad game, and early access is just open. You might have cleared the evening for this. You've got your snacks and you've settled in. You let the game install an update while you're at work, so it's ready to go. You fire up and you finish the game? Rocksteady, the developer of Suicide Squad, had to take their game offline less than an hour after opening after a number of players booted it up for the first time only to encounter a glitch that auto-completed the game for you. These players had purchased the Deluxe Edition, which is more expensive and grants players access 72 hours before it officially releases on February 2nd. But they got $20 of in-game currency as an apology. Layoffs this week. 1,900 Activision Blizzard and Xbox employees are being laid off by Microsoft while Mike Ybarra, Blizzard president, steps down. As we move forward in 2024, the leadership of Microsoft Gaming and Activision Blizzard is committed to aligning on a strategy and execution plan with a sustainable cost structure that will support the whole of our growing business. As part of this process, we have made the painful decision to reduce the size of our gaming workforce, says Microsoft Gaming CEO Phil Spencer. Alan Adam, Blizzard's chief design officer, is also stepping down. Microsoft has selected Johanna Ferris as Blizzard's new president, who used to be head of Call of Duty esports. In other layoff news, 61 Sega of America employees will be laid off in March. In funnier layoff news, one dev at Blizzard was able to utilize his employee perks to get himself World of Warcraft for free until 2033. Adam Holinsky, former Blizzard employee, used all the subscription codes he hadn't activated in Keyring before he got axed. Yay?
Prepare for trouble!
Make it double!
To protect the
That's right, a Pokemon heist. or rather Pokemon cards heist, with 3 intruders managing to grab over 35,000 Pokemon cards from a collectible store in San Jose called Tofu's Trading. The thieves were able to slide through the site doors despite the doors being blocked by a fridge. The motion detectors were faulty, and without the alarm they were in and out in about 10 minutes. They were also able to grab Magic the Gathering booster packs and the shop's whole cash register. Amy Simpson, the owner, believes it wasn't targeted as the thieves didn't know what to take. She's taken in good humour, making fun of how committed to crawling around the thieves were, all captured on security cameras. News nibbles. Universal in Florida will be presenting Super Nintendo World next year, adding a Nintendo-themed theme park to their epic universe, which is supposed to contain 5 worlds. Embracer Group cancelled a Deus Ex game, but a group of former Volition developers who were shut down by Embracer Group have formed their own studio, Shapeshifter Games. And Nintendo are planning on making 10 million Switch 2s by March 2025 to hopefully prevent a shortage problem upon launch. And now for some upcoming games. February 1st brings Grand Blue Fantasy Relink for the PC, PS5 and PS4. February 2nd brings Jujutsu Kaisen Cursed Clash for the PC, PS5, Xbox Series X, PS4, Xbox One and Switch. Persona 3 Reload for the PC, Xbox Series X and Xbox One. Suicide Kill the Justice League for the PC, PS5 and Xbox Series X. February 6th brings Clem for the PC and Switch. That's it this week in gaming news.
Thank you for the gaming news.
The news.
Yes, thank you. It's some good news, a lot of not great news. I mean,
There's a lot of that going around lately, isn't there?
there is.
It's a bad time to work in games.
Yeah, I
or
think pretty much
not work.
every week we hear of another round of large amounts of layoffs. Like, sure, there's probably, 2 or 3 people that probably weren't needed of those 1,900 Blizzard employees with a bit of redundancy and stuff there, which, every business needs to cut costs at some point, but 1,900 seems excessive. Like, as big as Activision Blizzard sort of thing is, and with Microsoft purchasing them, I feel like it would maybe be a bit of a rushed decision on their half, and they should have maybe done a bit more investigation in regards to what these 1,900 people actually did for the company. But, I'm not an executive there. I can't make decisions. I can't fire myself to actually, decrease costs. So let's remove a whole bunch of other people.
Yay!
Yeah. Yep. But, sympathies go out to all of those 1,900 people. Hopefully they can find other employment somewhere.
Hope so.
A couple of years, who knows? Maybe I'll run my own studio and hire all 1,900.
I wish there was some silver lining or some hope on the horizon, but I hate to say, I feel like it's just going to keep happening and happening and happening.
Yep, there's a pattern. It's patterning.
Do you guys know of any other industry out there that there's this many people hired or fired from individual companies and stuff on a regular basis? I don't think I hear it from any other industry. Like, I know film and TV and all that kind of sort of stuff comes on contract a lot, but not permanent employees or anything.
I can't think of any.
No.
If there probably are some.
Yeah.
But to this extreme, I don't know.
I think the most amount of people this year that I've heard is mostly from American companies and stuff, which I can understand why they're trying to unionize and do a whole bunch of that. But I know that that's very much against American sort of ideology, I guess.
American values.
American values! We don't work as teams! No, you just work as teams when you can pay them very little.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah. But, there is some good news and stuff in there and whatnot. Apparently you can get games completed for free when you pay for expensive collector's editions and stuff now.
Oh, yeah. Why even bother playing the game? Just fork over money. Wait, this sounds familiar.
Yeah.
Trust me,
I love a good collector's edition where I get some extra cosmetics and other things, and I love a good statue. I really wish I could afford the Space Marine 2 one that's still later this year, but it's only being sold by the online one, and it costs like $400 in shipping because it's so goddamn big. But I love that sort of stuff. But yeah, in this case for the, Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League, I paid to finish the game as soon as it loaded. Woo!
Whoa!
Consolation of $20 in-game credit. That's not a great experience for them, that's for sure.
Well, I think...
do they have an online store in that game,
Yeah.
I guess?
Yep, $20 of in-game currency.
Gross!
Yep.
I'm so sick of microtransactions in like story games and I'm assuming it's a story game.
It's a story game. The whole point is that the Justice League's gone bad and you as
Yeah.
a Suicide Squad need to go and kill them. Hence, kill the Justice League. But, you know, I get
Yeah.
that companies want to monetize their games ongoing and get an incoming stream and whatnot like that, so I can understand it.
I don't
but
like it.
I don't like it.
I've
either.
seen
Don't
it
get
done all right, but
Yep.
it is generally done pretty.
Pretty predatory, I
Yes.
think.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anyway,
You're listening to Z Games at 4ZZZ.
You're listening to Z Games on 4ZZZ.
Oi, mate, you're listening to Z Games at 4ZZZ.
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 Got a bit carried away.
but back to Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown. Speaking of Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown, here is Paul to talk to you about Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown.
Famed for his rotoscoped pajamas, Jake Gyllenhaal's Prince of Persia has dazzled young and old for decades, surviving multiple reboots in over a dozen games, of which most are pretty good. The latest Arabian adventure is brought to us by Ubisoft Montpellier. Can't tell your Montpellier from your Montreal? Well, here's a quick reminder. Montpellier were responsible for the Rayman games, including the incredible Rayman Legends and Beyond Good and Evil. They've taken the series in a Metroidvania route, so how does it stack up? Quick sidebar, I'm sorry about the term Metroidvania. Video games are rife with terrible terms that mean literally nothing to the uninitiated. In Japan, they call them search action games, and that makes marginally more sense. Action platformers with a focus on revealing and exploring a large map with areas gated by abilities that you will gather. So let's move on. In this latest Prince of Persia, subtitled The Lost Crown, which I must admit ranks solidly in the annals of forgettable subtitles, you don't play the titular prince at all. Rather, a warrior named Sargon, one of the Immortals. Basically a gang of Persian superheroes who fight for the kingdom and protect the prince. Alas, the prince is kidnapped, and you and your merry band head off to rescue him. As you meet each of these eclectic warriors, you will immediately be struck with the question, I wonder how I'll end up fighting you as a boss. And these instincts are not inaccurate. The narrative twists and turns are very typical. Personally, I found all the characters charming in a pulpy way, but if you're less endeared, you'll find all the dialogue generously skippable. Broadly, Prince of Persia The Lost Crown is an entirely cromulent entry in its genre, giving you everything you would want and stealing from the best of its peers. For instance, it steals liberally from Hollow Knight's pin system, which works wonderfully in giving you the ability to make different builds for your character. But instead of similarities, let's focus on where it differentiates itself. Firstly, game feel. I got to play a demo of the game last year and was immediately struck at how nice it was to move around. Movement is snappy and animations both responsive and, most importantly, cool. Everything is intuitive. You can run, jump, slide, dash, swing your sword, fire an arrow, and other options seamlessly. It looks great, feels wonderful, and it all feeds into perhaps my favourite aspect of the game: combat. The Lost Crown has some of my favourite combat in a game ever. At its core, you get through much of the game simply by hacking away and dodging, but there's so much more. It shares more than a few similarities with character action games like Devil May Cry. A few hours into the game, after a few bosses and explored areas, I had my first boss fight against a character that had basically the same abilities as myself. As action game fans know, this is where the real meat is. 100-foot tall monsters, nothing to worry about. A dude just like you, it's serious now. By the time I had conquered the fight, it played out like an action movie. Parrying each other, pulling off special moves, knocking them in the air, dashing in only to have them dodge out of the way, and I fire an arrow mid-jump to pursue them. It's fast, aggressive, and extremely satisfying. And that's just the start of the game. By the end, with all the powers you've gathered, these fights turn into glorious anime nonsense. I felt like such a badass. Many may look at this game and wonder how it justifies a full AAA price. Unfortunately, we have been trained somewhat to value 2D games as lesser. But this game is seriously substantial. The map is huge. As I played through, a friend and I were comparing notes. Very early on, we realised we had taken wildly different paths. As the game began to wrap up, there were multitudes of things the other just hadn't seen. Neither of us had tried to go off the beaten path. The game is just very willing to let you explore on your own and not shepherd you too tightly. It's around a 20-hour game to complete, and 30 or so if you want to try and 100% it, which is a big drive in this genre. While the main game is suitably challenging, some of the side content can get intense, near Celeste level platforming. That said, if you're a gamer that prefers more guidance, the game begins with a simple question: whether or not you wish for more direction. I opted out of this, but when turned on, your map will direct you to your next goal. It doesn't make a big difference in the game, but for those who may feel overwhelmed by the massive labyrinthian map, it is a nice addition. In fact, the game is very happy to allow you to play how you like. Here's just a sample of things you can adjust in the settings. Parry timing windows, environmental damage, high contrast visual modes, enemy health, remap controls, and this is on the Switch, aim assist, subtitle fonts and scaling, etc, etc. The game is incredibly accessible, and if you find friction that stops you from enjoying it, then you're more than welcome to play with these settings. Friendly to players is actually a good summation of the entire experience. One of the more innovative features is the map system. It has the typical 2D map we've all seen before, and you can place icons on it, as has been popular in recent years. You can also, just with a button on your controller, take a screenshot and that will appear on the map. This is a literal game changer. Encounter something you can't deal with yet? Take a screenshot of it, so later in the game you don't have to spend time going back there only to realise you still don't have what you need to get through. It's wonderful. Even the game over screen is a lie. If you die, any exploration or progress you've made still counts. You just have to go back to the last checkpoint. Speaking of checkpoints, I don't know why this excites me, but it does. So, often in the game you'll be in the middle of nowhere, health low, debating whether you should take the long journey back or forge ahead. Then you see golden leaves blowing in the wind. When you get near to a save point, this effect will lead you to it, from any direction you approach, normally for a few screens. It may not seem like much, but sometimes the glimmer of light in the darkness is just what you need to forge onwards. Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown has quickly become one of the best games in the genre for me, and a very strong recommendation. Honestly, the only reason I'm wrapping up now is because of the nature of radio, and I just can't rant about it for hours. If you like combat and exploration, it is incredible. I played the game on Switch, with code provided by my own damn money. The game is also available on PC, Xbox, and PlayStation platforms. Oh, and the enemy design is amazing!
We're back. Ooh. We've got more games to talk about. We've got a specific game to talk about, don't we?
Yes, I have a specific game to talk about. It is Strange Horticulture.
Ooh.
It was released on the 22nd of January 2022, made by Bad Viking, and is available on Steam, Nintendo Switch, and Xbox One.
Nice.
Yes, basically you are the proprietor, ooh, big word, me, a proprietor of the shop Strange Horticulture. It's the title.
Okay.
Oh my god, they said the thing!
They said the thing! Anyway, and yeah, basically most of the story takes place in this shop. You have some plants, you have a little encyclopedia, you have a map and a few other little, like every day you get some letters. You use these things to figure out what are the plants, where can you find more plants, and how can you identify these plants. So the puzzle is you get clues and you got to decipher that and find spots on the map which will have either more encyclopedia pages, because for some reason you have an encyclopedia that only has a few pages at the start.
Okay.
For, I guess, progression reasons. And yeah, you got to find more plants because people will come in and ask for specific plants.
I have heard this about plant people. They always want more plants.
Yes. Well, these are people who have problems. Maybe they have a headache. Maybe they're being haunted by spirits, and you need to identify the plant that will help them.
Imagine that. Plants have a use.
Yes, because this is a spooky sort of occult dark puzzle game-ish.
Intriguing.
Yes, then there's some sort of ancient horror that is being awoken. And
Eldritch?
Slightly, in that
that's
vein.
Fun. That's fun.
And the story, you're not really a part of the story. You're not the main character. The story is happening around you, and people come in.
You're just doing plants.
To get help to get certain plants.
I like that, though.
Yeah, it's quite good.
You're the side character.
Yeah.
Yes. It's an interesting
You're just
concept.
sitting in your shop, figuring out clues and puzzles, and maybe helping out with the people coming in, being like, someone was poisoned. I need a plant that can identify the poison. And you can just put the plot together gradually.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's a puzzle game, and then it's also figuring out what the hell the puzzle of the story is as well, I guess.
Yes. It's nice. In the description of the game, they make a big deal about, choices. But honestly, you don't have much effect on the story. The story will play out the same until the end, and then the choices will mean you get a certain ending.
Okay.
And if you replay it, there's not that much replayability, but I think it took me about 5 hours to get to the end.
Okay.
And that's pretty fast because I am, not to boast or anything, but I'm good at puzzle games.
That's good.
So
it would take me like 10 hours?
Maybe, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a lot of deciphering clues, finding the right places, reading the descriptions of the plants and figuring out, okay, so this description says it smells like something and is poisonous. Okay, cool. And then you can examine all the plants, and maybe one plant's description will be like, my hands sting when I touch it. And so you can sort of figure out, okay, that's a poisonous plant. Maybe it is that one.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So you don't need to be like a plant aficionado.
No.
It's giving you everything.
It gives you everything you need to know. Occasionally there will be some that are similar, and yeah.
So when you're playing it, do you feel more like a detective solving things, or like a witch with all your
detective
plants?
solving things? Technically, you're kind of like witchy, but you can join a cult, but it's kind of just dressing.
Okay.
Like,
is it the cult of the lamb?
No, there are no lambs.
You can join a cult, but it's not a big deal. It's whatever.
I mean,
you can if you want to.
Yeah.
Well, that's nice they give you the choice.
It doesn't really affect much. Just the end card that you get.
That's fine. It seems like the main draw is the puzzles to solve in the gameplay, not...
That's the part that I like. I didn't read the description, honestly, before I bought the game. And so I was just confused afterwards when I read it. And, there's a cat.
I was going to say, I can see in all of the materials here that there's a cat. How interactive is this cat?
You can click on the cat to pat the cat.
Sold.
It's a good game.
And when you press the bell to call in a new customer, the cat will get a bit startled.
Aww. Poor kitty.
Yeah.
I just won't serve customers now because I don't want to startle the kitty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, it's fairly simple, bit short. Full price is like $22 Australian. I got mine when it was on when it was on sale. So I feel maybe $22 a bit much for what I got out of it, but about $10. I'm pretty happy with that. So maybe
worthwhile picking up while it's on sale.
Yeah, while it's on sale. I think it's on sale right now.
What platform did you get it on?
I got it on Steam.
Okay. Well.
According to Steam, it is currently 50% off, and it is $10.97.
How long is the sale going on for? How much longer?
Until February 5th.
Okay, so you got a couple of days to pick it up at this price. So I recommend it.
I might just do that. Looks like a cute game.
A nice little morsel. Not really replayable, but...
there's a free demo as well, apparently.
Oh, yes. Play the demo if you vibe with it.
It's got cats and demos. Those are like the two things I love.
Yeah. And you get to click on things and label things, and it's great.
Apparently it got Best Puzzle Game as well last year, so...
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty good, so...
Hell yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Currently, you're listening to Z Games here on 4ZZZ. I'm Maylee.
Hi, I'm Caroline.
And I am Peter.
And it's coming up to the end of the hour here, so we're going to have to heading off soon. We're going to miss you.
It is. It's always a sad time finishing up this show. There's so much fun.
Yeah.
So many games.
We could talk for hours
I mean,
about
we could.
games.
I could
game
stay here.
adjacent
I know.
things.
We'll lock the door.
Lock the door.
Shove a chair under the door handle.
Refuse to hand over the studio.
I think
I feel like someone would frown if we did that.
Maybe.
Yeah, I'm sure there's like a technical override somewhere
Probably.
where they can take us off the air, but we'll keep going.
We could.
We'll get a megaphone, shout in the streets.
No, we will be
voices
back
must be heard.
next week.
That we will.
And I know a lot of people out there like games, but
A lot of people like films as well.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of both.
Some video games are like films.
Some films are about video games.
All right, I think that's time for us to leave it.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see you next week. We love you. Take care.
Bye. Bye, everybody.
Thanks for listening to Z Games.
If you'd like to listen to more, you can find us on the Community Radio Plus app.
Or find us on socials at ZED Games AU.
See you next time.